Make the ground shake.
Hello everyone and welcome to another tank review. I'm here today with the T-10, the tier 9 Russian heavy tank. Now this thing used to be called NusPojava and that was the last time I even played it, and since it got recently renamed and remodeled into this beautiful HD picture, I decided to get back to it and see what when I was playing it. Now I will be honest, when I first played this a couple of years ago even, I didn't really like it because this thing has a very high skill cap, which is unusual for a tier 9 heavy, but this does, and to get the most out of it you will have to work really hard, and in this video I will try to show you that. Now, as with any vehicle that I review, we shall take a look into the armor first. Immediately we can see that the armor on the hull, at least, it's mediocre at best. 120 on the front at the most, and it is not angled all that well. Surely you will bounce lower tier opponents if you angle it a bit like this on this side even, but however, you look at on each plate, if you angle it like this, the lower plate now it's much more effective, but this is only 160, as you can see, to 180. If you angle it like this, the lower plate is now rather weak, so at all times the T-10 doesn't really excel at being able to bounce a lot of shots all the time. The side armor, even though it says 120, it is only on the upper part of it, as you can see right here. On the lower part it is still 80. However, the plus point of this tank is that you do have this 30mm of space side armor, so even flat on it is quite hard to penetrate, and if the eyesight angles even the slightest, you won't be able to pen this, so avoid shooting this at all costs. Always go on the tracks, as you can see, even on the tracks it is extremely weak, 127, so if you shoot right here you can easily penetrate this all day long. As for the turret, it is very good in my opinion. 250 at the front, 201 on the frontal part of the side, 129 on the rear side, and only 90 on the rear. But if you face your enemies like this, if they shoot all of these areas here, they will have almost no hope of penetrating you. They can do it below the gun method, but it's a very risky shot, as you can see. Even though it hasn't happened to me, there is a possibility for a shot to hit right here and go into the hull, but that was a common thing on the WZ-111-14. On this it hasn't happened to me, but I do believe it can. You obviously have two cupolas right at the top, but they are extremely tiny since this thing got HD reworked, and even though they are a hard and 12, good luck hitting those. The turret roof is only 40mm thick, so with 122mm guns or higher gun caliber you can auto pen this easily, but if you use your gun depression, this armor can pull off a lot of bounces. The turret is really a no-shoot zone, because if the eyesight moves even the slightest, these parts here are extremely hard to hit even at a a close distance, and now the hull, it is very okayish. I mean, it gets up to 250, 260, so you can bounce a lot of shots from the enemies, but overall the hull isn't all that great. As always, we shall compare it to some other tier 9 compatriots. As we can see here, the choices for those are the WZ-111 and the Conqueror, because these things have pretty much the same playstyle. When it comes to the DPM, it slightly edges the WZ, but it is worse than the Conqueror by about 9%, 8 or 9%. The penetration is very good at 258, which can be felt compared to the 244 of the WZ, but it is one less than the Conqueror, which doesn't really make a difference. The damage for 40, it's alright, it is nowhere near the WZ's 490, because that thing has a 130mm gun, but it is much better than the Conqueror's 400. The rate of fire of 4.88, it's reasonable for the alpha damage, and it is certainly higher than the ST1, which gets the same gun. The shell velocity is alright, it is nothing special, but it's acceptable, and the ammo capacity at only 30 can be a problem, but that is only after you deal around 10,000 damage or more. The aim time at 2.8 is workable, if I'm honest, and the accuracy is very okay to me. I mean, I can work with this kind of an accuracy. I worked even with the WZ's 2.9 second aim time and 0.4 accuracy. I haven't played the Conqueror yet, but I assume that this is a real gun with this kind of a soft stats with 1.9 second aim time and 0.33 accuracy, which is excellent. As for elevation angles, elevation 15 bad, and depression only 5, which is also bad. Nothing, it is nowhere near the 7 of the Conqueror, but I have almost exclusively played Russians all my World of Tanks career, so I can get even used to this. The power rate is excellent at 14.8, and the soft stats aren't too bad either. As you can see, the turret traverse is pretty poor at 26, but the tank traverse, it is very good for a heavy tank. The armor we already discussed, it works, believe it or not, most of the time, especially when you are top tier, but you have to be careful when you meet higher caliber guns that have a lot of penetration. The health points are a weak point, only 1800, very low compared to the 910, 1950 of the Conqueror. As for the view range, 400, pretty standard for a tier 9 heavy. Slap optics on it and you will reach 445 with no problems. As for equipment, I would go with bird stop and rammer, and for the third slot either go with optics or vents. I am a huge fan of optics and I go for that, but vents is a viable option. I've seen a lot of people criticizing me that I have used optics. I mean, use vents. If that works for you, use it. I like a little bit of view range and I don't really find vents all that effective for that little bit. Yes, it can help, but most of the time optics is my preferred choice. Don't use extra combat rations because you do get ammo racked quite often and set on fire from the rear if you get shot from the front. Luckily you are not, because the fuel tanks are in the back, but if you get shot from at this point backwards, you will get set on fire, trust me. So don't use rations and you will be fine. As for crew skills, repairs is a must, 6 cents after that, and after that you can go with smooth ride, snapshot. Off-road driving is also alright for this thing, and situational awareness you can go if you are up to that, and safe storage, just to mention it, is a must really. I think that this was enough the spreadsheet reading, and let's get into some battles. So here we are in the first battle, and as you can see, it's a very tier 9 game with more than half the enemies being tier 9 on Himmelsdorf. It's an encounter version of it, and most of the times I would say go to the hill, but you saw my spawn position, and going hill is a bit risky if I'm honest, especially from this side, because as you can see you cannot climb there easily. So I decided to get down here, use the excellent mobility that the T-10 gets, and use the crap out of these guys right now. Already getting 887 damage on either of those T10s, and already reading up my third shot. I decided not to put it in the T10 because he was pulling back and the shot was very risky. Do manage to attract the one of the T10s in the open, and we'll go for another one, and this is what you wanna see. 3-shotting a T10, 1800 damage. Now you might say I got lucky. I did, obviously, but it's not my fault that he got even up to tier. That shot was lucky. That was very lucky. I clutch shotted, but the distance wasn't really all that long, so I decided just to pull off the snapshot. This ST1 is in the open. He decided to pull back, and I immediately decide to fire. If it hits, it hits. If it doesn't hit, it doesn't hit. I'm still on full HP, and in 10 seconds I am fully loaded. As I was saying, for the T10, the guy got up to tier 9 and still doesn't have a full repair crew on a heavy, so it's not my fault that I was able to permanent striking and ammo racking right there and there. Do get lucky one more time with the T10 and managed to pull off a bounce on the side, but it doesn't matter, and I will try to put another shot into him if possible. This ST1 is pinning me in the side, as you can see here. Pretty expected pen, if I'm honest, so that was that. Do put another shot into this T10 and falling back, hoping that one of them at least will bounce. No, this T54 is extremely annoying if I'm honest with you, and he will come around. I am almost certain of that. Luckily bounced the T10 and pull back, not too much because I do not want to take a rear shot from one of the T10s. The T54 tried something, gave me a perfect side shot, and I was able to exploit that. A very quick game, already up to 4,500 damage and still more to come. I do have side shots on this T10, put a shot, and he gets taken out from the WZ on the hill that I think he is on. Do have shots on this T10, we trade. I don't really care. At this point the victory is in the bag, so it's just a matter of a cleanup. He will put a shot into the VK, I think, and I will take him out. Oh, and the mood takes out the Lorraine, and that's GG for the first game. Let's get into the post-battle results. So here are the post-battle results of the Himmelsdorf game, and as you can see, I managed to pick up ace tanker, some tokens, and high caliber from the battle hero medals. If you look into the team score, you can see that we finished top on experience, damage, and kills with 5,600 damage, 3 kills, and 1,317 base experience. And if you look it on the detailed report, we can see that we did fire 13 shots, 13 of those hit and 13 of those penetrated, a perfect score, albeit some of my shots were pretty lucky. We did receive 9 hits, 4 were penetrations and 5 bounced with 1100 damage blocked by our armor. We spotted 4 vehicles, damaged 5 and destroyed 3 with even 356 assistance damage. I think it's time to get into the second game. So here we are in the second battle, and as you can see, a much more favorable matchup this time around with only 3 tier 9s on each side. So I think that this will work a lot in our favor. We do have far more experienced tier 9s than the enemy, but on the other hand, the rest of our team is pretty crap, whereas the enemy is pretty much mediocre, so to say. Now I will use the T-10 this battle as a heavy. Usually I would go with the mediums if I'm honest with you, but this time I would go with the heavies. This was extremely lucky, I will admit. The enemy T-10 only managed to hit my tracks and not pen me. I will try to put a shot into the turret roof of the enemy T-10, but failed to do so, and I will try to do it one more time and miserably fail once again. Going for the third time lucky, will I be able to pen him? And the answer to that is no. If we got lucky with our shots in the previous game, we certainly didn't get lucky with this. The ST1, I don't know how he bounced that. He had all the time in the world and he basically shot something, I don't know what. Fortunately for me, I was able to put a heat shell into his lower plate at an extreme angle, but his lower plate isn't all that well armored and well angled, so I was able to pen it with ease. Fortunately, the M12 misses. That was extremely close, and I thought that if that hit my engine neck, I would have been set on fire and so on and so on, because that is fair and balanced. But I feel that in every video I curse artillery, so I shall not do it in this one for the most part. NusPojava, ST1 and the T-29 decide to go for the T-29 first because he was in the open, whereas the ST1 wasn't, and we'll try to finish him off this time around with a second shot. This ST1, I don't want to get penned by him, so I will be far more careful. Now the T-10, I saw that he fired, and I will put a shot into his back and we'll try to flank this ST1 who also just fired. I will have the reload advantage on him, and just look at this shot. How did that hit his tracks? It was aimed at his engine neck and the distance wasn't even 30 meters. I have no words for that. Fortunately, we are able to put another shot into him, and that was enough to take him out. Still stealing like a boss this game, and already up to 3 kills and only 1,500 damage. Also that shot missed, hit his tracks, and I wasn't able to penetrate. Fortunately, he will bounce off me as well, like that, and I was able to hit him. Rolled pretty high, 526 is pretty high for this gun. And with the help of the Conqueror and the Yak Tiger, this IS-3 was killed within seconds really. There is a full health T-54 right here, but between us three there is not much he could do really unless he ran away, and unfortunately for him he didn't. Put a side shot into him, roll high once more, 484 damage, prime him for another 64, and the actor I think will be able to finish him off. Oh, it was a Conqueror at the end. I will now head back to defend from the enemy team because they are quite heavily pushing in our base, and I do not want that to happen. I do not want to lose the game from a capping point. Health pool wise, we are at a slight advantage, but we are -1 tank. Fortunately for us, we have all the tier 9s, whereas they have lost all of them. So we have a pretty good chance of pulling this back. Now you can see the 9-14 physics right here. I wasn't gonna be able to climb those ledges all that easily before this patch. Getting back to this game, I saw that the SU was around the street, so I decided to go for him first, and there he is. He puts a shot, bounces, and there isn't really much to do there. I mean, it was an easy kill. I had his whole tank, and that was that. Do decide to fire one unaimed shot on the FCM, which was a mistake because he only managed to attract me. He does have a very good reload, and he will be able to put another shot before I reload, so that is exactly what happened. I am still on very high HP, and I decided to push the FCM, but a T-26 E4 gets out of nowhere, put a side shot in him, roll high, and set him on fire. He doesn't have a fire extinguisher. Maybe he runs with cola. That's a mistake, my friend, and I was able to two-shot a T-26 E4, 1500 HP in just 2 shots. Put a shot into the FCM, 429 damage. It doesn't matter if I don't roll high on the next one. I should be able to take him out quite easily. Unfortunately, he pens me, but that does not matter because I am able to just finish him off with ease. The scores are now 11-12, 11-11, but we do have quite a bit of an advantage because we are 3 tier 9s and a tier 8 against 3 tier 8s and a tier 7, so the score shouldn't really indicate this. Now I will speed this up to ×2, even ×4, because this is a cat and mouse game, and we'll see what will happen here. There is the CDC. He tried to ambush us, but fortunately I was able to react fast enough and take him out. Here we took out the KV-5 and only the artillery left. Now you will see the mobility of the T-10. On this rubbery part, I was able to get around, as you can see, around 45. So this was a game where I didn't even have the engine unlocked, because when I grinded this thing, I decided not to get it because it was faster to get the S7, and I was eager for that. Fortunately for me, all of our remaining tanks are pretty slow. The TVP is slow for a medium man. The other two are a Yak and a Conqueror, so that is that. I am 1 kill away from a Radley Voltos, and I will try to get it if I can. We'll decide to speed it up once more. As you can see, the T-10 can work around its mobility, and around here is the RT. There it is. He gets spotted by the TVP. I don't know why he didn't fire at him. He's in the open, and I aim, and bye bye artillery. I think it's time to get into the post-battle results. So here are post-battle results of the second game. As you can see, I managed to pick up Ace Tanker and some other tokens, and from the Battle Hero medals I scored a Radley Walters medal, a High Caliber, and a Top Gun. If you look into the team score, we can see that we did finish top on experience, damage and kills with 5,641 damage, 8 kills and 1,582 damage, which is my highest in the T-10. If you look into the team score, we can see that we did fire 22 shots, 19 of those hits and only 14 of those penetrated. This is a much more realistic showcase of the T-10's capabilities, not the previous game where I got lucky with a few shots. We did receive 10 hits that game, only 2 of which penetrated, and we did block 2,420 damage with our armor. We did spot 2 vehicles, damaged 10 and destroyed 8 with 174 assistance damage. Anyway guys, that was my take on the T-10, a medium heavy, so to say. It has traits of a medium and you can play it like that most of the time, if I'm honest with you. Hope you enjoyed this video and bye for now.